Yeah, fantastic. Looking for that second win, making sure they get the 3 points, trying to get away from the middle of the pack. They don't want to continue on the spree of splits, honestly.
No, not at all. And honestly, if I am a betting man, judging from the performance we just saw, I think that Fantastique is one of the favorites. We saw them in set 2, and they dropped game 1. But they came back game 2 and won by 20,000. I expect that to be more the flavor of Fantastique.
That could be the momentum going into game number 2. It's going to be Fantastique versus Whatever, and Whatever's going to have to kind of change up their game plan moving into the second game. They're going to have to maybe think of a different support potentially.
I honestly, I'm in the camp. I am a huge pro HalfDevil guy. I am a fan of HalfDevil. I think that was an uncharacteristic game for the support, and that he'll just do a little bit better this time around.
Nemesis getting taken right away. Not going to be available for either squad as Fafnir, so still the same bans compared to the first game.
Yeah, nothing to be excited about here, totally. The Ao Kuang going to be banned out this time around, though. The Pikachu had a couple of fancy plays on it, but I don't think it was enough for Whatever to say, all right, let's keep it going.
And Ao Kuang is definitely a favorite pick for WorldEdit. That was one of his go-tos. It was between
Naja,
Fenrir, Ao Kuang, and Kali. Those were his 4 go-to gods, I would say, in the last split during Fnatic. And having Ao Kuang with a lot of CC and follow-up, and WorldEdit really plays off of momentum. And we saw that the last game with the Fenrir.
Absolutely. I wouldn't call Jiffy or WorldEdit my BFF, but we definitely rotate around some of the same circles. And WorldEdit is a momentum-based player for sure. When he's feeling good, he's feeling really good. And I think that's one of the benefits of this roster for Fantastique. I think that they can help each other out in that regard, especially versus the old Fnatic side. So looking at what Fantastique has going on, Awilix, one of my favorite junglers, auto pick versus Bacchus. Excellent pick ban strategy coming out from Fantastique here.
You definitely want to make sure that whenever this Bacchus initiates, you're going to be ready to get that pull. That's very important. With that, Whatever going to take away Janus from nulisa, making sure because we saw the way how aggressive she was in the first set against Cyclone Chi in the first game. She was able to make those aggressive plays. She could still play the Raijin. That would be a good follow-up for the aggressive Awilix Odin combination.
I want to see the Chronos totally. So a lot of times we see this Raijin and the Janus out of nulisa, and she winds up playing them. We're talking burst mages here. She winds up playing them utility. Now, how do you play Raijin utility? Blah, 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 blah. You kind of just follow up off of the damage that your teammates provide. Aiurz will be the selection for Fantastique. When nulisa plays Chronos, though, we saw it specifically in the Combine. That's the god that she hard carries on. I want to see Chronos in the mid lane for Fantastique here. I think this is a matchup that she can take. I think it's one that she can handle. And personally, I love Chronos versus Batz.
In this position with a Awilix Odin and Aiurz initiating for you, you could very easily get away with a Chronos late game. So I would like to see a Chronos here as well. You could potentially see a Soul. There's a lot of flexibility in that mid lane position for the mages. Maybe you even could see a Hu Yi in the mid lane.
Fantastique bans out the on her, and I like this choice here totally. Now, I don't think Lopez's on her was absolute must ban, needs to get going, but the on her was just an extremely well piloted character. It didn't take over the game, but it certainly played very well. Fantastique aren't in a must-ban situation here, so just put Lopez on his back foot. How many times did we see near perfect ultimates out of that on her? So taking that off the board, like I said, it's not going to win the game or lose the game, but it's just a little bit here and there.
And with that, it's going to be a Jing yet again for Jermain. He seems to really like this Jing, and he has an interesting style of building around the Jing, getting a Deathbringer around 4th item it is, trying to synergize a little bit more with those Death Bolts.
So for Whatever, or for Fantastique, we were discussing the likelihood of a Chronos. Whatever, have 2 picks left here, Anatoly. If we see burst damage come out of these 2 picks, I don't think we see the Chronos because of liability in the rewind. But if we see more distributed damage or more damage like Bellona, I think we do see the Chronos. I think that's why Jing is selected 4th to leave open these last picks, see just how much burst is on the side of whatever, and Fantastique will go Chronos or not based off of those choices.
We can see an Isis here because that would synergize well with the Odin. You have more CC to allow your Willish, Odin, and Aiurz to keep being aggressive in their enemy backline. Your Wingus will prevent the Bacchus belly flop. So that could be something that maybe nulisa goes for.
We'll take a look. Last pick coming here for Fantastique to round things out. Dual lane of Aiurz and Jing, Awilix in the jungle, Odin in the short lane, and the mid lane, played by nulisa. I really want to see this Chronos. And it will be the Isis. Both of these characters, these are the 2 characters that I think we landed on pretty much. The Isis will work a little bit better with the Odin. But both characters, more importantly, will allow nulisa to be front and center and be a little bit more of the hard carry part of the composition for Fantastique this time around. Whatever, we'll be putting Lofes on Ram. And I think Lofes was really a standout player for me last game. Pikachu started a lot of things and tried to make it happen and came up sour occasionally. I think Lofes was all positive.
He made some good plays. Unfortunately, there were times where his team was behind, and he got baited by Jermain that one time in the mid lane. He looked a little bit too long at the bright neon green color Jing.
Just a little bit. So Lofes now going to try and change things up on that Ram against Jermain's Jing one more time. Now this character was discussed, and a lot of people thought she was going to go the way of the Dodo with the change to Golden Bow. But explosive bolts and that passive just make her so valuable.
Especially when you have an aggressive support that's able to zone away some members in the duel. In early laning phase, we normally see, Bacchus, Jing. So now we're going to see the Aiurz Jing, which is going to try to maybe find some kills onto this Bacchus before the belly flop, or allowing Bacchus to belly flop and then finding the chains for an easy kill.
Right. And don't forget, off of the Bacchus belly flop, Jermain can use his dash once in the air. And again, just another, coin onto the side of the Jing even without the Golden Bow, she's got the explosive bolts to help her clear. The passive is very good, and this game is dominated by Bacchus right now, and she can escape Bacchus's nonsense.
Look at all that damage onto nulisa off of that portal unstable vortex. Forced to use a very early potion. Chains coming on the side of HalfDevil, roll onto Jermain, gonna poke him out quite heavily, force the belly flop away, and now lane control going on the side of Fantastique. Beautifully done.
Look at the confidence out of Jermain. He's attacking HalfDevil, and then once Lofes starts attacking him, he just sort of turns and shoots that guy instead. No retreat, no reason to, just understands exactly the situation he's in and sticks to it.
And with the junglers making their rotation, level 3 on the side of Fantastique, as the rest of whatever just sticking around to clear the wave. And look at this positioning now. They're waiting for the counter. So they're countering the counter.
And look, WorldEdit, they're going to go, ooh, are they going to gank?
They have to. They're going to wait for the wave to leave. They're going to go right on behind. Oh, they got hit by the tower. They got exposed.
Look both ways before you cross the street, but don't walk into oncoming traffic. nulisa's off the mark, can't find the stun, and Fantastique go for the sneaky, cheeky play, but wind up empty-handed.
Just sidestep under the tier 2 tower. Oh, that's rough.
That was a fantastic play, just goofed. Sometimes you just goof.
You just drop the ball.
Ouch.
Well, now they go for left side mid Harpies. Fantastique able to pick that up regardless. Mid right Harpies going, back right Harpies going the way of whatever. So they're still keeping up in farm relatively. They're not like out of the laning phase at all. They're not going to hit level 5 before Fantastique. So both side lanes have to be very careful about this Awilix rotating.
She's going to do just that. To the right-hand side, Jermain pushing down Lofes. Bellona a little bit out of position. So here comes WorldEdit, only level 4. So no yank out of the sky.
Doing a great job using that feather step during the bludgeon, but MoGoW not being level 5, you can't really try to go for a kill on the Bellona up until you are level 5. If you trade your Odin cage for the Eagles rally, definitely go in the favor of Odin.
So one more time, not level 5 just yet. This wave will make it so. So now MoGoW has their available, but I mean, Awilix has been in this lane for 12 years. Everybody on whatever is well aware. They're going to make the rotation. And here we are looking at the elementals. And they go the way of Fantastique.
2 go in the way of Fantastique. 1 was taken by Whatever, the first one, so slightly favoring us. We do have a little bit of poke. Dardez doing a good job doing those long distance chains, and keeping their distance is JustLofes and HalfDevil. Also not wanting to get pulled because the Bacchus, recognizing the threat of the Aiurz, picking up the Purification.
There's that trade that you were just talking about. Ring for the Eagles rally. Odin on top. Why is that?
You have a lower cooldown on the side of the Odin cage, 60 seconds, whereas Bellona is a little bit longer, so you definitely want to trade that out, and then maybe you'll have a rotation. But meanwhile, Fantastique, recognizing that the dual lane is poked out,
love this play.
They're going to force the Gold Fury.
Love this play. Not only do they realize that the dual lane's poked out totally, but the mid laner walked through mid lane, got picked up on the map by the minions, so everybody knew mid lane's on the right side and left lane is poked out. We get a free objective. On top of that, though, Whatever respond by taking out the solo laner.
Now, that's all fine and dandy for that kind of trade, as long as you're able to take something from the solo lane. That's exactly what No Numbers is doing. Taking away the blue buff from MoGoW should put him in a good spot, getting Warrior Tabby and his second item before MoGoW will.
You know, these are relegations, totally, and a lot of times at this level of play, this sort of in-between Pro-Am and Pro, excuse me, here's a couple of shots. Dardez in trouble. 2 from Lofes. No kill just yet.
Forced to use the Purification. Beautiful pickup. If HalfDevil didn't have Purification there, he would get pulled under tower, get triple chain. But here's the rotation from WorldEdit, trying to find a kill, forcing Purification out of Lofes, and he's extremely low, having to back as well.
Yeah, can't stay in lane just yet. WorldEdit comes to the rescue of his teammates.
So with those 2 Purifications being down, Dardez has a beautiful opportunity to try to look for like maybe a double pull. Honestly, it doesn't matter who he pulls. Once he finds it, they're definitely going to die with it. As long as he can land the triple chains, you have Jermain following up with the damage, and WorldEdit is probably going to be leaning there as well.
Yeah, it's pretty much up to Dardez here. Which, I mean, this is back when these guys were playing under Les Mimodons. Jermain and Dardez were known as the Bruise Brothers for a reason, right? I mean, these guys are always looking for these kills. So certainly something that Whatever has to keep in mind is that Fantastique's dual lane going to be very, very aggressive. Despite the fact that they're fighting into a Rama and a Bacchus lane, they're still going to be aggressive.
But they know when to also peel it back. We saw Bacchus making the aggressive, just belly flop into the Intoxicate, Rama using his ultimate as well, and there's just a lot of respect on the side of Fantastique's duo lane. But now they're with the rotation from WorldEdit and the Purification down on that side. If they can find a knock-up, not going to find it though. Dardez not having the blink, having the shell.
And that one little just nod in the direction sends Aiurz's ultimate all the way to the left side. So through space and time being taken off the table, WorldEdit waiting for an opportunity. If Whatever goes up to the middle of this lane, WorldEdit is jumping right in there.
Yeah, that's what you have to do as a Willis. You have to find that surprise gang. Dardez going to find a double pull, but going to use the ultimate as Rama, not getting pulled in, counter and engage, not really doing too much damage. Rotation from WorldEdit, but not in a position to really find anybody. Yeah,
WorldEdit wanted to come a little bit more aggressively, but the Pikachu caught him out on that ward, so WorldEdit could not go ahead for the kill. Pikachu, on the other hand, looking for it.
And look at the level disparity between these 2 junglers. Level 9 on the side of the Pikachu because of that solo lane gank, finding the experience.
It's not even just the solo lane gank, totally. That's certainly a part of it, but it's the lack of experience on the side of Awilix. And what I mean by that is WorldEdit has spent the majority of his time looking for these ganks and these plays instead of focusing on the actual farm. And we saw this a couple of times on the side of Fnatic. Jiffy or WorldEdit can get caught up looking for the plays instead of actually making some.
And with the Hunbats, Fear No Evil, oh, the Spirit Ball confirms that nulisa going to be in a little bit tricky. Nice body blocks from HalfDevil. Nowhere to go into that tier 2 tower. It finally gets popped. Fear No Evil, the Eagles rally confirming the kill, as we do have MoGoW making a nice rotation.
Double for the Pikachu, looking for more as the feather step comes over. WorldEdit picks up HalfDevil, but that'll be that. 2, 4, 1. HalfDevil falls down, and again, If anybody's going to die on the team, it's going to be the support. I'm down with that. nulisa and Dardez drop for Fantastic.
And yet again, WorldEdit getting caught through the portal as we have Aiurz disengaging on top of Pikachu, barely escaping with his life. So finding another kill onto Fantastic. It was a 3-for-1. Unfortunately, they weren't able to take the speed buff, but it doesn't matter. Meanwhile, No Numbers is pushing the soul lane. However, on the flip side, the speed buff is being contested by MoGoW.
Troublesome game here for WorldEdit. Quite the opposite for the Pikachu. 4-0-0 on the side of the Hun Batz. And like I was saying before, I think this story is more about WorldEdit just rotating and looking for these hot plays that just aren't coming, and the jungle camps are being stolen by the enemy or just staying up.
So the thing, okay, we have an engage on the right-hand side. HalfDevil getting caught out. Beautiful chain from Dardez through the wall. Nowhere for HalfDevil to go. Purification was available. If you wanted to purify belly flop away, that was an option. Another pick on the side. Fantastic, doing a good job. Golfier respawning in about 10 seconds or so. That could be an option, but there's no Wrath available. And going back to the jungler side, what I wanted to elaborate more on is how we saw WorldEdit the last game with the Fenrir, just playing with beautiful momentum. We look at the composition from Fantastic. They don't really have much setup for the ultimate of WorldEdit.
Sure.
They have the knockup from Jermain, which is not the easiest knockup to get.
No, not at all. And like I said, I think this game for Fantastic, they've got to lean on nulisa a little bit more than they were last time around. Before it was set up and we'll get the kills and nulisa will just bang the drums right down the middle. On this Isis, especially going the do more build, we need to see a little bit more stun and gun. That's what Isis is going to be more of the hard carry than the Awilix this time around, whether it's because of the lack of setup like you brought up, or just because of the fact that the mage has so much power. Jermain going to show his face, knocked up, half HP on the Gold Fury already, totally. Whatever, have this one in their hands, but not clean, as Fantastic shows up.
Pikachu trying to get a kill onto Jermain. Jermain using the ultimate whatever does secure the Gold Fury, and they disengage pretty well. The Eagles rally with the Rama ulti finds the kill onto Jermain.
This is a timid game coming out from Fantastic. Too scared is how they played that engagement. One more time, mentioning about nulisa, when she's confident, she will go in 100 ways to Sunday and make that play. That, she was not very confident there. From an Isis player, what you need to see is the stun into the ultimate underneath to demand that the enemy team drops the Gold Fury. Without the circle of protection, there's no demand there. Instead, nulisa drops it defensively underneath herself past the point. Gold Fury goes the way of whatever.
Not having MoGoW or Dardez to contest that Gold Fury, forcing Jermain to be the one in position to maybe steal it with his ultimate. Not a good spot for Fantastic losing that Gold Fury. And now forced to use the defensive ulti. Not really a big deal having Breastplate of Valor and the blue buff for cooldown. So gonna retreat under the tier 1 tower, no problem. Meanwhile, in the Soul Lane, they're still gonna elect to push it. They have 2 members on that side. Meanwhile, Pikachu looking for something on the left-hand side. Purification is down for Jermain, but his ultimate should be coming up soon.
Even with that ultimate up, Pikachu could make a play. Doesn't want to force it, however, as Dardez and Jermain walk back into their own jungle.
Looks like he did walk over a ward earlier on, so playing very carefully was Fantastic. Just trying to get their back left Harpies, not staying in the laning phase as long as they possibly can. Also pinging out the rotation from Pikachu. HalfDevil looking for a potential belly flop in the mid lane.
But with Dardez on the left-hand side, HalfDevil has to be careful about what abilities he chooses to use.
MoGoW clearing the wave on the right-hand side, and there's going to be a rotation from whatever as the speed buff does respawn, and Fantastic going to respawn with their own red buff. Game is going to slow down for a little bit longer as the Gold Fury is going to respawn in 3 minutes. This is going to be game number 2 of set number 3, day number 1 for the challengers of the European set. So very important for Fantastic to try to close this one out.
All right, Bart.
You like that Bart impression? I was like, this is Bart right now.
Day 1, set 3, game 1, minute 2. That's the old Bart. And we're in the 3rd trimester of the 4th set of the. Yeah, that's the old Bart. Good for you, Tolfred. Good for you, Tolfred. Thinking back to when your playing days.
I miss Bart.
Yeah,
that was my little Bart impression.
Bart just makes fun of me on the internet, so I don't miss Bart.
Engage from Pikachu, Blink, the Fear No Evil, nulisa forced to use the Sanctuary, but not really much follow-up, as we do have a 1v1 in the dual lane. Lofes just going to force agility out of Jermain and going to make the rotation beforehand.
Sloppy play by whatever. I love the idea right there. All right, Fear No Evil into the ultimate. We have all the setup, but everything just sort of missed. But the idea was there. The execution just wasn't. So whatever, unfortunately, do not find their gank in the mid lane.
So it's not visible, the success from that initiation, but the Purification and Sanctuary are now down on nulisa, so they can go for round number 2 once those cooldowns come back online.
So we'll pretend like it was going for the burn of the beads.
Sometimes that's what you have to do. You have to force the setup for, you know, it's a process.
Oh, I completely agree. If you see a monkey jump in and drop a Fear No Evil, you're looking for the beads burn. If you see a monkey jump in and drop a Fear No Evil and then 3 other ultimates, I think you're looking for a kill, Toli, but we'll give the team the benefit of the doubt. Whatever make their play, they strip the mid laner of the beads and the Sanctuary. So whatever, find themselves 2,000 gold up and 2 relics up in the mid lane.
Just waiting for somebody to come around the corner. We do have a Sentry Ward on the top left as Dardez walks over his own ward. HalfDevil could potentially look for a knockup, but now just going for a really good counter ward. Speed buff being taken by WorldEdit, going to regroup with his teammates on the mid lane. The nulisa's cooldowns on her relics are still about 75 seconds.
MoGoW here just gets the up down and seals away his own buff. No numbers, shows his face, but can't do much of anything about it.
Trying to get some poke. Meanwhile, mid lane, just jostling for position. And look how far back nulisa is, just getting her own back left heartbeats. Dardez trying to keep the wave outside the tower, not going to deny any gold.
Yeah, nulisa understands the target that's on her back. 50 sacks on that Doom Orb. Everybody wants to get rid of it. HalfDevil's going to show up here. You can see Lofes and Pikachu lurking in the jungle. Not going to go for the assassination attempt just yet.
Not at all. They have a little bit of a window still. It's about 38 seconds. Force that Purification out of the Hunbats. Beautiful knock-up ulti from WorldEdit. Meanwhile, on the left-hand side, a little bit of a 1v1 skirmish, but because of that wave, Love's forced to get that farm.
And as soon as you saw Jermain go a little bit too far, whatever, make the rotation into the jungle. Fantastic, on the other hand, going to clean up their own jungle. HalfDevil jumps into 2, by himself, drops ult, still by himself. And help, the portal has been provided.
No numbers is here before MoGoW. This is an advantage for whatever, but they just can't find the right target. They needed the through space and time to position the Hunbats to get that Fear No Evil. HalfDevil trying to zone out, but taking a lot of damage. Going to get knocked up by Xingwei. MoGoW through the wall. Going to find the jump and the kill.
And MoGoW picks up 1. Lofes in trouble. In MoGoW's ring. Up to the sky goes Ram. Dardez is going to go ahead and drag 1. Kill 1 as well. No numbers. Falls down to the hand of the support. Lofes is still in trouble. Being chased by Dardez and nulisa. Monkey on the left finds an exit. WorldEdit. Will he dive? Yes, he will. Knockup is good. Hit is strong. No feather step, but the ring around from MoGoW is here. Cyclone takes the kill.
3-0 in the favor of Fantastique, and this is what they need to get back into this game. Gold Fear now being started. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Janus able to push a little bit further. Not really going to be able to get this tower. He should be looking for more kills potentially as well after the wave instead of going the right, because there's really nothing there.
Free Gold Fury going the way of Fantastique as they have opened the door up for themselves. And as we see the live graph update, 13. Oh.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was.
11:37.
Yep.
Yeah. So close.
1,100 gold in the lead.
So close.
Not quite 13:37, but close enough after a nice lead play. 5-5. We're all tied up here, folks. The game very, very close here. And, you know, it's funny. I mentioned MoGoW got the kill with a Cyclone. You can't use the term Cyclone as a descriptor in Smite. We've got Cyclone the Org, Cyclone Spin the player. There's another Cyclone player in Europe Challenger Cup scene. I meant Cyclone like the Whirlwind that Odin has. You just can't use that as a descriptor.
There's Xing Shen's ultimate also. You can describe that as a Cyclone.
Nah, it's the washing machine,
It's
man.
a washing machine.
That's the washing machine.
But you got to get the Poseidon Whirlpool underneath also, right?
That's the true spin cycle.
Yep.
That's really what it's all about. The combination of abilities. That's Fantastique. Look to combine theirs in the mid lane. WorldEdit looking for a good knock-up into a pull into nulisa's nonsense. But instead, it's going to be the blink in from the support. 1 pull, 1 dead. WorldEdit gets credit for that. Launching down the mid lane is through space and time, but it claims no lives as the support stuck in the ring. The ring will fall, but HalfDevil will as well. MoGoW credit for that, 7/5. Fantastic in the lead. No Numbers trying to respond, can't make it happen, but Lofes, powerful as ever, takes a chunk by the Isis, forced to roll back.
Here's the time. Lofes should be able to use his ultimate to find nulisa or maybe force out a Sanctuary.
Dardez.
Aiurz dying into the back to MoGoW. Dardez very low.
Whap.
The last hit connects onto Dardez. MoGoW trying to force an engagement, but Lofes is still here. Jermain going in, trying to find No Numbers.
Lofes.
But not going to find it.
Nah, this is Lofes' fight 12 times till Sunday, Toli. So all he wants to do is just go engage, looking for MoGoW as well. Lofes defended that tower by himself. I'm aware that there were other people with his team's jersey underneath that tower. That was all Lofes. That was by himself. Everybody just looked at the hunter. Everybody.
That's what you have to do. You have to bait yourself out. You know, there are some players that really like to tactical feed sometimes in the hunter position and dive tier 2 towers and phoenixes and then get bailed out by their teammates and then wonder where the rest of his teammates are. But in that situation, it's a little bit of a different story.
Are you speaking about anybody in specific, or?
No, I'm just talking about hunters in general.
Oh, okay. Just
hunters in general.
Just talking about the general aptitude of hunters, I guess.
Yeah.
That's what I figured here. 18 minutes in, Lofes on the bottom side of this match, trailing by 3,000. Him and his team put on a fantastic defensive set underneath the tier 1 mid tower. Like I said, I mean, that was all Lofes. Lofes just fired arrows into everyone. And I mean, part of it was on Fantastic. They sort of went in one by one, hurrah, hurrah. But Lofes sat there going, ha, 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 and just piled arrows into them. And nobody could really do anything because of it.
And that's what you need. You can't afford to lose another tier 1 tower. You already lost your tier 1 on the solo side. You're down 1 Gold Fury to 2 currently, and you're trying to survive in this game. You don't want to come out of this set with 0 points, right? You're down about 2,000 gold, which is not the end of the world at the 19-minute mark. So controlling the pace of this game is very important for whatever.
This is not the end of the world being down 2,000 gold at the 19-minute mark, but the next win for your opponent begins the end of the world, essentially. There's 1 foot on the ladder for Fantastic, and if this tower goes down, if this team fight goes the other way, this is when they start to climb, but whatever says no. No Numbers picks up 1 right away. MoGoW's going to drop the ring, and Dardez is going to pull 1 as well. 1 for 1 as WorldEdit picks up 1. Dardez answers back by killing a second. 3 still alive for whatever. This defensive set looked good at the beginning, but now MoGoW just pushing the gas. Lofes gonna roll back. Jermain gonna push forward, take out the tier 1 tower. 500 gold going the way of Fantastic.
Beautiful knockup, expecting Pikachu to teleport to that furious monkey. So nulisa, despite getting all in that position, there was a lot of abilities being used to find that kill, and that resulted in Fantastic finding the counter engage, 2-for-1 trade, getting the tier 1 tower as well, extending their lead just ever so slightly as the Gold Fury is about to respawn in 30 seconds.
Fantastic played for the exact opportunity that they were given. Right there, I think you see some teams focus on the tower. Everybody forget about the team fight, just guard the hunter and go for the tower. Other teams go, all right, we got 1 or 2 kills, let's go for the Dia side. Fantastic said, all we want is 2 kills in the tower. As soon as they got enough space to let their hunter breathe, they just looked at the tower. They understood that it's not necessarily about winning the team fight or winning the tower. Sometimes it's about a collection of both. Fantastic wind up on top there, chasing a second kill on the right-hand side. This is a dead Rom.
It's going to be, unless the misses connect, finally finding the kill is Dardez, as the Gold Fury has respawned, and with that important pick, however, Jermain in an awkward position, going to get belly flawed by HalfDevil. 1-for-1 trade. The cage comes out. The Fear No Evil comes out. Here comes Ice's ultimate as well, as Pikachu gets taken out.
Nulisa gets credit for that one. Finally, the mid laner finds her kill. There's a pull on to HalfDevil. He gets pulled. He gets smoked. Double kill for the mid laner. And No Numbers all the while, just doing the dirty work. 500 gold going the way of whatever.
Did have teleport available to make that important rotation. As a result of not making that rotation, it's a 3-for-1 trade, and Fantastic should be able to get this Gold Fury. Nobody in position.
So, you know, I want to go back on that. Gold Fury gets taken up by Fantastic, quite obviously, extending their lead to 4,500. Now, whatever didn't fight that head on. That wasn't a straight 3-player die. That was, again, 1 by 1, hurrah, hurrah. I don't think No Numbers wins there. I don't think No Numbers has, what I mean by that is, I think teleporting is the wrong choice. I think staying in lane is the wrong choice. I think he's damned if he does, damned if he doesn't.
Sure.
So just pick up the gold.
In that position, when your Ram's getting bullied under his own tier 1 tower, he bought a decent amount of time to maybe allow the Bellona to rotate over and at least find a return kill quicker.
Okay.
Because they found Jermain because he was forced to go underneath between the tier 1 and tier 2 instead of back above.
Yep.
Had he made that decision instead, he would have been safe. Now, Dardez having the mystical mail. We do have an engage, however. Jermain going to get targeted yet again, forced ultimate away.
He caught the dash as well. 1 shot, 2 shot, 3 shot. The only one that's going to hit. 2 were on the target, but sanctuaried out. So good relic play coming out from Jermain.
And with that back from Jing Wei. Now, I was about to say that Rama could easily push this now, there's Jing Wei back, but there's the passive, and she's back in lane.
Already.
No problem. Dardez there as well to hold lane outside the tower. We do have a rotation underneath by WorldEdit and nulisa looking for the out of position slightly Rama and Bacchus.
WorldEdit, is he going to look for the knock-up or jump over the wall? That's the real question. Here comes nulisa. Misses the stun. Gets hit by himself. There's the pull over the wall. Purification used a little bit too late. Right on top, WorldEdit comes, and one more hit does it. Lofes gonna sit down. Highlight play for WorldEdit. Will he escape? Dances through the damage from Janus. Finds another knock-up. Still providing utility for his team. Now getting aggressive. Gonna go ahead and retreat and deal damage onto the tower. Meanwhile, MoGoW takes out a support, drops a ring. They're looking for the solo. No numbers will fall as well.
Not having his ultimate to escape. That's going to be 3 dead on the side of whatever. Tier 1 tower defended for now by Pikachu, but he has to retreat. MoGoW going to stop that back for now. And that's the kind of confidence and play we need out of WorldEdit to make, wow, what a beautiful counterplay by Pikachu. I didn't expect him to find a kill, but using his passive beautifully after the Furious Monkey, but he's still being surrounded by 4 members. He should fall here very momentarily. Buying so much time, finally gonna fall. 4 members dead in place of Jermain.
You know, that's the type of play that I mentioned Pikachu was capable of early on. I said, you know, Pikachu's gonna be crafty, he's gonna be slippery, and that's what you get out of Pikachu. You get these surprise turnaround kills, like he just gets one right there onto Jermain. Pikachu is a dude that he's going to fight while he's in the coffin, is essentially what I'm going to say. There will be scratch marks on the inside of Pikachu's coffin when he gets buried. He's never one to throw in the towel, and right there, very important for him and his team as whatever's looking for their first points of the afternoon. We've seen everybody thus far wind up split down the middle. As Tolly gave us before, we're in game 2 of set 3, and if a split goes this way, whatever will wind up with a point of their own as well.
Yeah, and I was distracted by, I was going to go on a rant a little bit about WorldEdit making the perfect initiation through the wall up until Pikachu did find that kill. And like I was mentioning, WorldEdit needs to make these kinds of plays with the Awilix through the wall, just the confidence. Even though nulisa didn't land her Spirit Ball, WorldEdit knew, like, okay, the relative location of the Ram's going to be over here, so I'll just throw it out here, and I know I'm going to hit it.
And that's the type of play that I think a lot of the pros and people in the know are expecting out of WorldEdit. Again, formerly known as Jiffy. He has this gameplay, he has this style, he has this capability as Pikachu falls down one more time, but we just didn't see it in the spring split. Now surrounded by a much different group of players, specifically a more supportive group of players, and perhaps players that don't overshadow him, I think might be a good look for WorldEdit.
Also finding the pull onto HalfDevil. The belly flop is down, so he is going to take a spill. Gold Fury is respawning about 40 seconds, but honestly, this could be even a Fire Giant attempt coming up the 26 minute mark.
It's possible, and looking from the way Fantastique is going, I think it's certainly that decision.
Yep, with the Isis ultimate, giving the protections, the burst to confirm it. There is no Wrath available, but Isis ultimate is basically a Wrath at this stage of the game. Not even necessary.
No, I mean, yeah, Isis ultimate has always been one of the best tools for securing a Gold Fury. The other going to be Bacchus Belly Flop Intoxicate, and Bacchus is sitting out for about 10 more seconds anyway, so not even on the board. Right-hand tower going to go down. Nobody playing defense as WorldEdit takes the long scenic route around just to make sure nobody's going to show up. Fantastique rotates over to the mid, and Tier 2 is now in trouble.
Finding the Tier 2 on the right. switching over to the mid tier 2, having the Fire Giants. 5-member stance, strong. Pikachu initiating into the back. Meanwhile, on the other side of the back line, finding Dardez with the triple chains.
And I love the positioning from Dardez, just splitting the team up, not sure which way to go, and that allows Fantastique to just sandwich chunk these players together. Pikachu falls down, still HalfDevil playing on the backside, and no numbers stuck in between a rock and a hard place. MoGoW gets another one. WorldEdit gets one for himself as well. Lofes gonna fall down. There's Zapman Aegis, and there he goes down. 2 for the jungler as WorldEdit cleans up, and a little bit of dance around Aiurz damage, and this Janus in trouble as well. Dardez gets one for himself. The support is 6-2-14. One more time, folks. The support is 6-2-14, and Fantastique, leading by over 10,000 gold, make their push down the mid lane.
Okay, this time they're gonna end. It's a Dia side. They got Fire Giant. GG, Fantastique getting 2 wins here in this set, finding 3 more points. They stand with 4 points currently, so all they need to do is find another win, and they're into the SPL.
WorldEdit and Dardez. WorldEdit and Dardez. Cheeky as always, dying to the fountain, but those wins were well earned. As you said, Kiki, as you said, Anatoly, those will go ahead and earn the first win that we'll see all afternoon. 3 points going the way of this squad, and that'll put them, as we said, at the top. Breaking down, if you're just joining us, what this means. If you win 2-0, you earn yourself 3 points. If you split 1-1, each team earns 1 point. And obviously, if you get swept, you earn no points. Now, being as the math is the way it is in our format, 5 is the magic number.
Yeah, with the 5 points, you confirm your spot into the SPL. That's the threshold that you need where you're not basically going to get taken over by any other team. All you need for that is 1 2-0 sweep and 2 draws, or 2 2-0 sweeps, which would give you 6 points.
I mean, look at the way Fantastique just played that one. They certainly look on the up and up. Next, we're going to have Torpedo versus Cyclone. So both of those teams on the bottom end going to look for a win for themselves. But Fantastique versus Whatever was very exciting. One more time, Whatever, the team that's not even supposed to be here. One of the teams had vacated their spot. That became Fantastique, and a whole bunch of shuffling around. We wind up with some competition, and HalfDevil's team winds up here, not even supposed to be here, and playing fantastically, but not enough to take down Fantastique, as their jungler, WorldEdit, makes a great showing today.
He was just playing lights out in both games, game number 1 and game number 2. On the Fenrir game number 1, he only had 1 death, I believe, that whole game, playing very good in terms of playing offensive plays by building defensively, you know, finding the right kills. And then the second game with the Awilix, you know, making the right necessary rotation. Despite being 2 levels behind in the second game, he was able to come back.
You know, I think when we think WorldEdit, again, WorldEdit, formerly known as Jiffy, everybody goes to the Naja play. The Naja is what we saw him play the most in the spring split, but if we change gears and look at what he played the most effectively, I think it's the Fenrir, Toli. And watching in this game number 1, it was great because he provided the utility and the raw damage, something that he could do on the Awilix as well. You see there both a knock-up and a kill, 2 separate sides of the fight.
Yeah, it just got to a point where WorldEdit was able to find the isolations as well, not afraid of any sort of damage despite him being this low.
Right.
And making this kind of play was really necessary for his team to capitalize off of.
I mean, this was one of the bigger plays of the game. He gets to pull over there, more importantly, drags Bacchus with him, and that opens the door for his team to take out the tower and then respond here for the secondary follow-up kill. And then, of course, what led after that, a number of objectives. So fantastic stuff coming out from WorldEdit, and of course the rest of the squad as well.
And with that, that's going to be it for the 3rd set of the day. It's going to be the 4th set coming up.
Yes, we've got Torpedo versus Cyclone. We'll be right back with that next match, so stay tuned. We'll see you in a moment.